Hi, fourth grade. I'm back with the second part of Module 7, Lesson 4. This is the On Your Own section, so you might have already done the work and you're just here to check to make sure you did the work correctly and your answer is correct, or you did not do this independently and you are ready to follow along with me. So remember, we are doing two-step problem or multi-step problems with multiplication and division. Okay? And we're going to decide whether we need to, how we're going to interpret any remainders if we have them. So a chef has 5 dozen eggs. How many 3-egg omelets can the chef make? So the chef has 5 dozen eggs. How many eggs are in a dozen? 1 dozen has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 eggs. So there are 12 eggs in 1 dozen. And we want to know how many 3-egg omelets the chef can make. So our first step is, we know that there are 5 dozen. Well, how many eggs are in 5 dozen? So we are going to multiply 12 times 5 equals how many eggs the chef has. So 12 times 5, 2 times 5 is 10, regroup 1, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So E equals 60. So he has he or she, the chef has a total of 60 eggs. So the chef wants to make 3-egg omelets and wants to know how many 3-egg omelets he or she can make out of the 60 eggs. So this time, we are going to divide 60 divided by 3, and that's going to tell us how many omelets the chef can make. So 60 divided by 3, how many 3's are in a 6? There are 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 0, bring down my 0. If I have 3 and there's 0 here, I'm going to put a 0 up here. 0 times 3 is 0, minus 0, which is 0. So there are 20 omelets that the chef can make. So our answer would be 20 omelets. Okay. Number 3. Juan buys 10 bottles of juice for a party. Each bottle holds 24 fluid ounces. How many 6 fluid ounce glasses can Juan fill with the juice? Write equations to model and solve the problems. Use Z for the number of fluid ounces and G for the number of glasses. So we know that Juan buys 10 bottles of juice. Each bottle has 24 fluid ounces. How many 6 fluid ounce glasses, can Juan fill with the juice? So our first equation is going to be to figure out the number of fluid ounces total Juan has. Okay? So if he buys 10 bottles and every bottle has 24 fluid ounces, our first step is to multiply 24 times 10, which is going to equal Z, which is the number of fluid ounces. 24 times 10, we know anything times 10, we're just going to move all of our numbers up 1 place value. So my 2 will move to the hundreds place, my 4 to the tens place, and I'll have a 0 in my ones place. So Z equals 240 fluid ounces. So our second step is we want to know how many glasses he can fill. And each glass is 6 fluid ounces. And we know that he has a total of 240 fluid ounces right now. So it would be 240 divided by 6, and that's going to equal G. So 240 divided by 6. Well, we can't there are no 6's in a 2, right? So I'm going to bring down my 4. 6 times what equals 24? 6 times 4 equals 24. So 4 times 6, 24. 0. I bring down my 0. So 6 times 0 is 0. So he can fill 40. So G equals 40. So he can fill 40 glasses with juice. So it was a two-step problem with no remainder, so we didn't have to do any sort of interpreting of the remainder. Okay. The manager of a basketball league buys 96 practice jerseys for 6 teams. Each team has 8 players, and each player gets the same number of jerseys. How many practice jerseys does each player get? So there are 96 practice jerseys that he bought. There are 6 teams, and each team has 8 players. So our first step is to figure out, well, first we need to find out, well, how many players total are there? We know he bought 96 jerseys, but I don't know how many people there are playing on the team, right, all together. So we know there are 6 teams. So our first step, we know there are 6 teams, and each team has 8 players. So our first step is to multiply 6 times 8, and that's going to tell us how many players there are all together. 6 times 8 equals 48. So there are a total of 48 players. Now, he bought 96 practice jerseys, and there are 48 players. So I need to figure out 96 divided by 48. Now, we haven't done this kind of work before. That's going to equal how many jerseys? So how could I solve this problem? One way I could solve it is I know that 48 times my jerseys is going to equal 96. So if I think about that, what times 48 equals 96? Well, if I look at these two numbers, this looks like it's double this number. Let's see if that's true. Let's see if 96 is 2 times 48. Is that double? So 48 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16. Regroup my 1. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. Oh, it is. So the number of jerseys they each get is 2. So each player gets 2 jerseys. This one is one where, even though we haven't learned this kind of division yet, we could do some really good thinking on this. We could think, I know that this is super close. Like 48 is almost 50, right? And 96 is almost 100. And I know that 50 doubled is 100. So it would make sense that 48 doubled is 96. This is where we have to be reasonable. We have to think, what does it kind of look like to help us answer those questions? Okay, so now number 5. 4 friends buy 3 packages of these erasers. They share the erasers equally among themselves and give any leftover erasers to their teacher. How many erasers do they give to the teacher? So there are 4 friends. And they buy 3 packages of these erasers. And there are 18 erasers in every package. So our first step is, we know that there are 3 packages that they purchased, and there are 18 erasers in each package. So we need to figure out how many total erasers did they buy. 18 times 3 is going to equal E for our erasers. 18 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 1 times 3 is 3 plus 2 is 5. So there are 54 erasers that they purchased. And the 4 friends are going to share them equally. So they're going to spread them out equally between the friends. So this would be 54 divided by 4, and that's going to equal, I'm going to put F for friends for each kid getting an eraser. So 54 divided by 4. There's 1, 4, and a 5. So 1 times 4 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down my 4. 4 times what gets me close to 14 without going over? 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 14 minus 12 is 2. So I have a remainder of 2. So F equals 13, remainder 2. However, the question was, how many erasers do they give to the teacher? They're going to give any leftover erasers to their teacher. So each kid is going to get 13 erasers, and then the teacher is going to get 2 erasers. So in this case, we just needed the remainder for our answer. All we want to know is how many erasers they gave to the teacher. We don't necessarily need to know how many each kid gets, but we find that out in our working of our problem, because that's how we get to the answer. So this is a case where we take the remainder, and it is the only thing we want in our answer. All right, we're on the back page, number 6. Mr. Drake buys tickets for a movie at the museum. He buys tickets for himself and his wife, and for his children and their friends. The total is $46. How many child tickets does Mr. Drake buy? Okay. Mr. Drake is buying tickets. He buys a ticket for himself and his wife. So that tells me that how many adult tickets did he buy? He bought 2 adult tickets. Oops, I didn't spell that right, sorry. And for his children and their friends. We don't know how many children are going, how many friends are going. And the total that he spent was $46. So our first step is to figure out, well, how much total were just the 2 adult tickets? So 2 adult tickets, if one adult ticket was $7, we would add 7 plus 7. So 2 adult tickets equal $14. So we can take the $14 out of the 46. So I'm going to take 46 minus 14, because that's going to tell me how much was spent total for the children. So 6 minus 4 is 2. 4 minus 1 is 3. So there's $32 left, okay, that he spent. Each child ticket, so this essentially is a 3-step problem, right? Each child ticket is $4. So to figure out how many kids went, we're going to divide 32 by 4. 32 divided by 4 equals 8. So how many child tickets does Mr. Drake buy? He buys 8 child tickets. So this one didn't have any like long division or big multiplication, but this did have 3 steps. Should have a third color right in here. We first had to add to find how much for the adult tickets, then subtract to find out how much was left after we spent the adult ticket money. So we know we spent $32 on child tickets. So then we would divide that by $4, which was how much each child ticket was. And that told us how many children went, how many kids went, how many child tickets he had to buy. Okay? All right, number 7. There are 90 students in the 4th grade. They are divided into 3 equal classes. Each class is separated into teams of 6 students. How many teams are in each 4th grade class? So we know that there are 90 total students in 4th grade. There are 3 classes of those 90, those 90 students are broken up into 3 classes. And then within each class, there are teams of 6 students. And we want to know how many teams there are. So our first step, we know there's a total of 90 students, and we know there are 3 classes. So our first step is to figure out how many students are just in one class. Okay? So we want to divide 90 divided by 3, and that's going to tell us how many students are in each class. So 90 divided by 3 we know that there are 3 times 3 equals 9. We bring down our 0. So 0 times 3 is 0, which is 0. So there are 30 children in each class. Okay? And we know that within the class, they're broken up into teams, and they have teams of 6 students. So we need to take these two numbers. So if I have 30 total students, and they're broken up into teams of 6, I need to figure out how many teams there are. So 30 divided by 6 equals, well, what times 6 equals 30? 5. So there are 5 teams. Number 8. Simon has 2 boxes of car models. Each box has 23 models. He displays the models on shelves that can hold 8 models each. What is the least number of shelves he needs for all the models? How do you know? All right. So he has 2 boxes that have car models in them, and each box has 23 models inside of it. The models are going to go on shelves, and each shelf can hold 8 models. We're going to know the least number of shelves he needs for the models. So first of all, we need to figure out, well, how many cars does he even have? How many of these car models does he have? So if he has 2 boxes of 23 models, we are going to multiply 23 times 2. And that's going to tell us how many model cars he has. So 23 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. So he has 46 model cars, or car models. Now, I know that he can fit 8 models on every shelf. And he's got 46 total models. So the next step is to divide 46 divided by 8. Well, 46 divided by 8, and that's going to equal my shelves. 46 divided by 8, well, I know 8 times 5 is 40. But then there's going to be 6 cars left over. Now, he's putting all of the models on his shelves. So he will have 5 full shelves of 8 models, and then he will have 1 shelf with 6 models. So he needs a total of 6 shelves. 5 full shelves and 1 shelf with 6 car models. Okay, that's how we know. He's going to have 6 shelves, but they won't all be full. Only 5 of them are going to be full. And 1 of them won't be completely full, but it will have 6 on it. 6 car models on it. And our last question. Anita plans a party for 96 guests. She can rent all rectangular or all round tables. Which kind of table should she rent? And explain our choice. So, we see she's got 96 people coming. The rectangular tables each seat 6 people, and they're $8 a piece. The round tables each seat $8, or 8 people, and they're $9 a piece. So I think the first step we're going to need to figure out is how many tables does she need for rectangular and how many tables will she need for round? And then how much each will cost. So let's start with the rectangle. Okay, rectangular tables. There are 96 guests and each table seats 6 people. So our first step is 96 divided by 6 will tell us how many total tables she needs of the rectangular shape. So 96 divided by 6. 9 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times 6 is 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. I bring down my 6. 6 times 6 is 36. So she's going to need 16 of the rectangular tables, and those are $8 a piece. So our second step for the rectangular tables is to take the $8 times the $16, or 16 tables, and that's going to tell us how much money she needs to spend to get the rectangular tables. So 16 times 8, 6 times 8 is 48. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. So she'll spend $128 for the rectangular tables. Now we're going to do the round tables. So still the 96 people, but these tables can seat 8 people. So more people can fit there, but they do cost a little more. So we've got to see the difference, right? So 96 divided by 8 equals how many tables? So 96 divided by 8. 9 divided by 8 is 1. 1 times 8 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down my 6. 8 times 2 is 16. 0. So they need 12 of the round tables. But remember, the round tables are more expensive. So we don't, even though you need less round tables, we've got to see which one is more expensive. So the round tables, she needs 12 of them, and they're $9 a piece. So 12 tables times $9. So 12 times 9. 2 times 9 is 18. Regroup my 1. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So $108. So what do you think is the better deal for Anita? Probably to get the round tables, right? Because not only does she need less round tables, but it's also going to cost less money. So I would think the round tables would be the better choice because she needs less of them, and it will be cheaper to rent the round tables. Okay? So I'm not going to write a sentence for that. I'm just going to put a little star, circle it and put a star, because I just kind of talked about it. We can see there are less tables and it costs less money. So I would definitely suggest to Anita that she should rent the round tables. Okay? Alrighty, so you are going to complete the independent work for 7.4. You're going to complete the whole thing. Remember, most of them will be 2-step problems. You might have some with 3. Like this ended up being 4 steps, right? For this problem. So you might have, up to 4 steps. But please make sure you're doing all the steps. You're figuring out all the information. If you do have highlighters, it does help to highlight the different steps so that way you know, okay, this information I need for this step, this information I need for the second step, so that way it keeps your information separated and clear. Okay? So I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Don't forget, I need everything turned in by the 12th so that way I can check it all over, and then you guys are free and clear for the winter break, and we'll be back learning again together on the 22nd. I hope you have a great rest of your week again and a great break, and I will see you soon. Bye.